Bye.
Will the birds and the bees survive?
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away. Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.
There's your long ball. Stretch, stretch, stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. Today's show is brought to you by Place Your Bet. If you like to bet on sports games, the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, the NFL, basketball games from college, golf, boxing, you name it, and you're looking for a real bettor's edge on the casino sportsbook, call Place Your Bet right now at 702-799-9935 and subscribe. Place Your Bet uses money movement to determine their picks, just like the casino odds makers. They're the ones the casino don't want you to know about. Call Place Your Bet right now, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935. Call them right now. Sign up for your subscription. You can also visit them at placeyourbet.vegas. Get winners and cash tickets today with Place Your Bet. And tell them the Sports Circus sent you. Yes. And a big welcome to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, our CBS and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. We have a special guest coming up in just a little bit. That'll be Pro Football Hall of Fame and College Football Hall of Fame inductee Mike Haynes from the New England Patriots and the Oakland Raiders. Don't want to miss that one. All right, but real quick, I want to start out with a potential rule change for the NCAA basketball. Now, the NCAA Rules Committee recommends pushing men's three-point line back. I mean, frankly, I don't blame them because they seem to be shooting a lot shorter than the pro line, which, of course, they're going to have to adjust to the pro line. But anyway, moving on here. The NCAA Men's Basketball Rule Committee recommended a rule change that would make the college basketball three-point line standard with the international three-point line at 22 foot, 1 3/4 inches. The current three-point line is at 20, just over 20. We'll call it about 21 foot. So it's going to push it back a little bit. It's going to make it, let's face it, for all those guys that go to the NBA, it's going to give them a better shot as far as coming out the gate and hitting three-point shots, which is kind of cool. But also for those guys that don't make it to the NBA and they go into international basketball and go play overseas, they're already going to be prepared. Now, the recommendation comes as basketball teams are more reliant on three-point shots. Teams average nearly 23 three-point shots per game just last season, and the recommendation is being made after the international the three-point line has been used in the postseason NIT tournament as well for the last couple of years. Now, three-point shooting percentage has been down in the NIT, of course, because they moved the line back, in those 2 seasons compared to the regular season. Now, the NCAA says, quote, after gathering information over the last couple of seasons, we feel it's time to take a change, says Tad Boyle, committee chair and coach of Colorado. Quote, freedom of movement in the game remains important, and we feel this will open up the game. We believe this will remove some of the congestion on the way to the basket, close quote. Now, teams in last season's tournament, in last season's NIT, that is, averaged 23.1 field goal attempts in the tournament from behind the arc, compared with the 22.8 three-point attempts in the regular season. Now, the three-point shooting percentage of teams in last season was 33%, compared with the regular season average of 35%. So there are some big changes coming. And listen, I think it's good for the game, and it really prepares the collegiate players for the next level, whether it's in the NBA or whether it's an international play, and even if it's an Olympic play as well, because they use the international rules. Now, that's not the only change that's potentially coming here. Actually, that is coming. There's another one where the shot clock adjustment proposal is also in play. Now, men's collegiate basketball could also feature a shot clock that doesn't reset to 30 seconds after an offensive rebound either. Now, the committee proposed a change that cuts the shot clock to 20 seconds if the team with possession gets the rebound off a missed shot that hits the rim. The NBA has a similar rule, and teams that get offensive rebounds have 10 seconds fewer to shoot a second time. Now, both recommendations, of course, are going to be voted on coming up soon, but I think both of these recommendations are good for college basketball, and I really believe it's not about speeding the game. It's not really about opening it up. I think it's about preparation for the next level. Now, there are a lot of people that have opposing opinions on this as well, but what I can say is that in the greater good, this is something I think that really will prepare these kids, because they are kids, even if they're one and dones or they go 18 right to the NBA, which Adam Silver is going to lift that rule, that one and done rule, and he's going to allow the 18-year-old players, just like it ought to be and just like it was previously, to jump right in to the NBA. And let's face it, if they're good enough to play in the NBA, they should be allowed to play in the NBA, but more importantly, it's their rights. If they're 18 years of age, then they should be able to do what? Play pro basketball, because they can already fight for their country, they can already vote, and they can already do what? Well, in some states, they can actually reach the bar, they can have a drink. But at the end of the day, they could sign a contract. That's the most important thing. They can legally sign a contract by themselves without their parent or guardian. And so lifting the one and done rule is a big winner for the kids that are basically stuck going to college for really one semester. So you figure a new college student coming out of high school, 18-year-old kid, will go the first semester. Basketball season starts, really tryouts and so forth happen in the summer, and then they end up actually going to camp and start practicing and playing in October. But really, they're already starting. As soon as the school year starts, these kids are already playing. And let's face it, they have one season, which is really, it goes all the way through March Madness, right? And so these kids really aren't engaged academically, because really their goal is to get to the NBA, and it's not to go to college. They're only stuck going to college, so therefore they will go because they have to, but they're not engaged with the subject materials for the most part, because their interest lies where? It lies in going to the NBA. That's it. So I think lifting the one and done rule is a good thing. I believe the shot clock adjustment is also a good thing from a preparation standpoint. And I certainly believe moving the three-point line back to international standards is a very good thing as well. So we're seeing some good things coming on in college basketball. And I'd sure like to see some faster progress with some of the rule changes with other sports. But anyway, folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with that very special guest, Mike Haynes, from the New England Patriots and the Oakland Raiders. That would be the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the College Football Hall of Fame inductee, 9-time All-Pro. This is the guy who was probably Dion before there was a Dion. Really a shadow. I think he ran the routes better than the receivers. Back with Mike Haynes in just a few minutes here on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Here is today's top automotive tech story. I'm Nick Miles. Ford introduced a new Explorer, which will include a police interceptor, a gas, a hybrid that will go 500 miles on a single tank, and a performance ST model that'll have over 400 horsepower. On the technology front, it'll have a 10.1 portrait-mounted touchscreen, much the same as a Tesla, Ford's Copilot 360, driver assistance technologies that parallel parks the vehicle for you, and terrain management systems. For more cool car tech, visit testmiles.com.
Hop into the all-new greater-than-ever Corolla, now with a redesigned sporty exterior. The Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 comes standard with advanced tech safety features, bringing peace of mind to every drive. Go to toyota.com/testmiles for details.
You're listening to Global American Broadcasting, the Gab Radio Network. For more info on our programs and services, including technical operations and syndication, please visit gabradionetwork.com.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Here is today's top automotive news story. I'm Nick Miles. Nissan introduced the IMS concept. It has autonomous driving modes on electric power, but still has an exciting driving performance. Underneath, dual electric motors. Blue lights on the vehicle light up to tell others that it's in autonomous mode. It'll project augmented reality on the dashboard, alerting you of safety hazards ahead. Expect it to be able to do 300 to 400 miles on a single charge of electricity. For more cool car tech, visit testmiles.com.
Hop into the all-new greater-than-ever Corolla, now with a redesigned sporty exterior. The Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 comes standard with advanced tech safety features, bringing peace of mind to every drive. Go to toyota.com/testmiles for details.
You're listening to Global American Broadcasting, the Gab Radio Network. For more info on our programs and services, including technical operations and syndication, please visit gabradionetwork.com.
Tell everybody. Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. This segment is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind for less than $1 a day. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to you that you don't understand. And hey, let's face it, maybe a defensive back pickpocketed you didn't even know it, and you need a lawyer. Call Legal Shield right now for legal help for less than $1 a day. They can help. 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or visit them at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. And tell them the Sports Circus sent you. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Folks, we have a special guest. I'm just going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Oh, boy. This is the first time I've ever done this, folks. But this is Mike Haynes. Played 14 years in the National Football League. My first year was in 1976, and last season I played was 1989. Started my career with the New England Patriots and had 7 years there, 7 great years with great players, and then had the real good fortune of ending my career on the Raiders, who was the winningest team in all of professional sports at the time, where I got a chance to win a Super Bowl. And again, got a chance to play with some great guys, and still in contact with both teams, great players on both teams, and of course the Raiders being in in California. When I was playing, I feel more like a Raider because I'm in California now. When they leave, I don't know what's going to happen. But I've enjoyed my career as a player, and my career ended. I worked in the NFL office and got a chance to help players with transition out of college into pro football and to think about how they want to transition back into what we call normal life. And still very active in a lot of different things with the NFL community, and looking forward to living a long life free of any tough ailments, and willing to fight for that. So my newest goal is to live to be 125, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to eat right, exercise right, get good sleep, and take care of my body, and talk to people who can help me achieve that goal.
Wow, 125.
How'd I do?
Hey, you did great. 125, you'll be halfway to 250. Gotta like that.
Well, I'm a cancer survivor. I don't know if you knew that, but I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and by 11 years ago, and I was the national spokesperson for the American Urological Association for 10 and a half years, and went around the country trying to encourage men to know their family health history and know if it ran in their family, because if it did, they're likely to get this disease, and you want to try and catch it when it's easily treatable. And the only way you're going to do that is to catch it in the early stages. So I did that as well. But when I was diagnosed with the cancer, that's when I said, I've set goals in my life to be a great football player, to be financially set, to be a good father, to be a good husband. I never set a goal to live a long life. And so when I was diagnosed with the cancer, I just, out of the blue, said I want to live to be 125, and it's become a new focus of mine.
So, Mike, how did you know? Were you having symptoms, or was it something that you just had a premonition, I better get myself checked out? How did you discover this? Because a lot of people don't know how to go about that.
Well, at the time I was working in the NFL, and the NFL had launched a new program at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and so there were a lot of guys there that had an interest in the screening, and so my boss asked me to go down to where the guys were being screened, and while I was there, one of the cute nurses said, "Hey, why don't you do this? You might encourage some of these other guys to do it." I said, "What is it?" She goes, "It's a simple blood test." So I sat down, they drew some blood, and I actually thought that they would be calling me over the weekend or mailing me something, with giving me the results of the blood test. But a doctor, 20 minutes later, called me in and said he had the results of my test, and he just had some questions. And, of course, you can imagine how I was feeling a little anxious, thinking that maybe I didn't have a good test. But he told me that there's no way to tell from a simple screening if you have prostate cancer. You basically have to have a biopsy. But he asked me a lot of questions about my health and my past history and my family history. And I knew my grandfather died of some kind of cancer, but I wasn't sure of what type it was. And so I think, with the fact that I was an African-American who are more likely, African-American men are more likely to get the disease than the general population, I was so concerned when I got back home, I called my doctor and talked to him about the results of that screening. And he looked at the results and said, Mike, since you are African-American, let's send you for a biopsy just to be on the safe side. I don't think you have it. I think you're fine. You've been coming to the doctor every year getting your annual physicals, and it's not out of whack. For a guy your age, your PSA is lower than some number. I think it was 4. And he said, so because of that, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But let's just be on the safe side. So when I saw the expert, the urologist, he said, why didn't you come in here earlier? So, you can imagine how I felt when he responded that way.
Right.
And I said, what? He goes, but it looks like you're in great shape. And so what I know now is he sensed that I was getting a little anxious because being in great shape has nothing to do with the results of cancer. So anyway, he did the biopsy and went in on my prostate and took tissue samples in 12 places, and I had cancer in 9 of the 12 places.
Wow.
So that was the beginning of an interesting transition for me, and fortunately, I found out in the early stages. And even though they said, hey, Mike, you found out in the early stages, you're going to be fine, I just thought they were just being nice. Say that to everybody, keep them strong mentally. But it actually turned out to be true. And so after having my prostate removed and had a good result, they were able to get all the cancer, and so far I've been clean for, knock on wood, 11 years now. But after that experience, they asked me to think about being a spokesperson, and I said yes, because I knew I was like most men, and I hope there's not a lot of doctors listening, but, I don't really like going to the doctor,
Right.
But, but you have to. And now that I've set this goal of wanting to live to be 125, doctors have, somewhat taken a new place in my life, because I realize that they have a tough job, sometimes with the messages that they have to give, and our program, our awareness program, was designed to help men feel comfortable going in and talking about their health and their health issues, and hopefully having a good result like I did.
Now, also, you have somebody else to thank for this, and that would be the cute nurse, if I recall.
Yeah, but, that was just for 10 or 15 minutes. I can't even tell you who she is or who she was. And I do go back to that hospital, though, every year at the Hall of Fame, and go in there. They have a ward, like a terminally ill patients. Mm-hmm. I go in and speak with them all the time and just, give them a sense of hope and encouragement. And there was a time when I was taking high school kids in with me, and it was really kind of cool. I'd say to the person, male or female, or male and female, I should say, and say, so if you have some advice for this young man, what would it be? And man, the things that they said, were just unbelievable about, having a appreciation for your family and for the things that are going on in your life, and to don't take anything for granted, and be a good student, and be kind to your mom. I mean, they just all these great messages that they were giving, and I still do it. And the kids don't come anymore. I just go into the ward by myself and just sit there and talk to them and take pictures with them, and just have a good time. It's just one of the things that I do when I go to Canton, Ohio.
So when you're going to the ward, okay, so outside of Canton, I got to ask you this. How often do you wear the gold jacket? Just because.
There was a time when I hardly ever wore it, but now it seems like I'm wearing it more and more. People will request that I wear it. If I have a speaking engagement or just an engagement where they're going to have Hall of Famers, they request that we wear it. So I get a lot of mileage out of that jacket now.
Yeah, I would imagine. Boy, it'd be nice if one day Tom Flores can get one of those.
Well, I thought last year was going to be the year, but I know this year it's going to happen. It's got to happen. I mean, this is the year because it's the 100 years, 100-year anniversary.
Right, they're going to expand the field.
They're going to actually have more players and coaches and administrators inducted in the Hall of Fame. So if you remember when they had the very first induction, they had quite a few guys, a lot of guys. And so the year that I was inducted in 1997, we had 2 players, 1 coach, and 1 owner, just
wow.
4 people, and of course, they let anybody in now. So,
Well, I'm not in there. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, look how many years. Look how many years it took.
I'm kidding.
I know it took in our last 10 seconds. It took Jerry Kramer decades to get in there. Jerry should have been in there a long time ago, but that just shows, I mean, how tough it really is to get in. Folks, we're going to be back here with Mike Haynes, 9-time Pro Bowler, NFL or Pro Football Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, NFL 75th anniversary team, you name it, even the 1980s all-decade team. Back here with Mike in just a few minutes here on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company. 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you start up with capital, business strategy, sales, and marketing, and establish your company with a physical location or an online presence on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. Then American Business Trust can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com. Or call them at 657-600-1876. That's American Business Trust Company. 657-600-1876. Call them today. They'll help your business right away. That's American Business Trust Company. Online at abtrustco.com. American Business Trust Company.
On News for You, we give you something else that you are not getting in the normal newscasts on radio. It's all left, right, the name or the letters of the company. You know what you're going to get. Not from me. I get flack from everybody because I call them like I see them, a moderate American. It's the most dangerous place you can be right now. All of your friends are going to be angry with you because you're not one side or the other. Well, on News for You, stuff that's not quite so political. Plenty of fun stuff. Maybe give you a smile, but when we need to, we will weigh in. News for You. Sales at gabradionetwork.com.
Are you looking for something different to complete your broadcast lineup?
We have the answer. The Mike Novak Show with Peggy Malecki on the Gab Radio Network.
It's gardening and environment radio spiced with humor and fun.
Welcome to intelligent, irreverent talk about plants and the planet they grow on.
For more information, contact Kevin at gabradionetwork.com. The setup is easy. Write Kevin today and we can be on your station by next week.
Go green or go...
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. This segment is brought to you by Cali Vegas, helping people just like you create and host your very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help you with everything you need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic like you're doing right now and host your very own talk show in your very own studio. Call Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119. Or visit them at calivegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. You can also email them at info@calivegas.com. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, our CBS and NBC and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. And folks, if you want to ask Mike Haynes a question, he's our Guest for today, that would be Pro Football Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, 9-time Pro Bowler, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the other accolades that we're going to get into in just a few moments. You could call in and ask a question at 844-305-7800, 844-305-7800, 844-305-7800. Mike, welcome back.
Thanks, Sal.
All right, good stuff. I love the story of what you gave on the prostate cancer. We were just talking in between commercial break about, family people that just don't really get it until it's too late. And, diet has so much to do with the recovery from a major illness, especially cancer. And a lot of people don't really realize that, do they?
Well, it's really more a mindset. I think, and I fall into this too. I'm no different. That's what I'm saying earlier. Most men are like me, or I'm like most men. I just thought, I'm going to live to be 65, something like that. But it wasn't until I was diagnosed with cancer that I said, I want to live to be 125. Well, I think that if I had that feeling early on, like I want to live to be 125, that I would have been asking more questions when I was around doctors, and when more people were ill around me, I would probably be asking them questions like, hey, how did you know, and what symptoms did you have, or what are you doing now, and what do they say, are you going to be all right? I'd be asking a lot of questions, but everything just kind of went over my head. And so I think a lot of people were like me, except that once they were diagnosed, they didn't set a new goal. They just decided, hey, well, I'm getting close to 65, of course, of course I'm not going to live forever. And I can't even tell you how many people have said to me, I don't want to live to be a 125. I got a lot of people. And I said, I understand why you said it, but if you change your mindset a little bit, what if you can live to be 125 and still have the ability to walk around and pick up your grandkids, and you might have great grandkids,
right.
by then. But if you could exercise and still drive a car, still think,
right. Have a quality of
sharp,
life.
why wouldn't you want to live to be? Yeah, why wouldn't you want to be 125? So for someone to say early on, like at 50, I don't want to be 125, it just seems a little bit odd for me, because I just think that they really haven't thought it through. It's just like in sports and maybe anything that we do, our mindset has a lot to do with the success that we have doing it.
Right. I mean, look, at 65, my best guess is you could probably play just as good as a lot of the DBs that are sitting out there right now in the game that are making mad money. And I would be willing to bet you could probably still run pretty well. And let's face it, you were a shadow to every receiver out there. I mean, I think you ran the routes better than they did. So you never know. I think you can get out there and play some more. You never know. You can sign one of those, at least maybe a 2-year contract. All right, here we got a call coming in from Long Beach. Go ahead and identify yourself.
Hey there, Mike. How you doing? This is Lenny from Long Beach. I got a statement.
Hi, Lenny.
Question for you. Look, you played in an era with the Raiders where they were feared. I mean, they had the 3H defense: hit, hunt, and hurt wherever they went. It just seems like this is out of John Matuzak's mouth, not mine. And it just seems that the Raiders have just kind of dropped off, Mike, from that mystique of just they come in there, they don't take names, they just pillage and plunder, and they leave everything else behind, and they take the wenches with them. I want to find out why the Raiders, in your opinion, have lost that luster of mystique. And the question I have is, who was the best quarterback receiver tandem that you had to defend against? When you saw that, you said, man, this is the hardest assignment I've had in my career.
Well, let's start with the first one, and that was about the Raider image and everything. Well, the NFL has changed, and you got to be living under a rock if you don't see that, and I'm sure you do. That's why you're thinking, why can't the Raiders get back to that? The NFL, they can't get back to that. Some of the things that we used to do to intimidate our opponents, you will get thrown out of the league for that stuff. You'll be fined so much that you won't have a good time. And so we did a lot of things, when I was on the Raiders, and when I was on the Patriots, we had a great defense, but we weren't intimidators. The Raiders were intimidators. One, they were usually bigger than most of the teams they played. Our secondary was huge. All of the DBs were at least 6 feet tall. I was 6'3", 100 or 200 pounds. Lester 6'2", 215 pounds. Mike Davis 6'3". Van McElroy, Otis McKinney, James Davis. All these guys we were huge, and so just by our size alone, we intimidated people. We had great defensive line, that with size and speed. They were just different, and we had veteran players like Lala Zato, who basically was the leader of that defense. When you talk about intimidation, when we played in the AFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks, one of the officials said, Zato, I saw that. You do that again, and you're out of here. And he said, you don't have the balls to throw me out of here. He said that to an NFL official. And he stayed in the game. You can't do that today. If he was to do that today, not only would he be thrown out of the game, he would have been fined big time and might have missed games, might have had to go into some kind of a psychological, treatment type of thing. It's not the same game from that standpoint. And to be honest, I like it better the way it is, but I understand what you're saying as well, because that really made the Raiders different from all the other teams. But today, it's just the quality of your play, your athletic ability, and things like that. Your ability to come up with the clutch catch or the clutch play. That's what the Raiders did also. And if we could get back to doing those kinds of things, that'd be exciting. So I don't think we can be intimidators anymore. I think those days are over. And as you know from the big hits, oh gosh, Jack Tatum, his hits, Lester Hayes, man. When he was the MVP of the league, that dude would come up and strike a running back like you would not believe. And I think most of the running backs were thinking that he's a corner over there, but they forgot that he was a linebacker in college. So, that's just the way the Raiders will be remembered. But I think that the other part where they always came in with the big play, like the holy roller and different things like that, that is the kind of stuff. That's the mystique that I'd love to see continue on. But the hits, the intimidation factor, the NFL doesn't want that anymore. The officials have been instructed to take action when they see it. So that's that. And the other question you asked was about the offensive quarterback and receiver. To be totally honest with you, and I have kids. I have 6 kids, and they all play sports. And I always tell them it's never about the other team. It's never about the other player. It's always about you. And so when I would go into those games, there was not one single time I stepped on the football field where I was afraid to cover this guy or face this quarterback. It never happened. It was like my job in cover one, play man-to-man, take outside shade. If he runs it out, I'm picking it. If he runs up, I'm covering it. If he runs it in, I got to drive on the ball, make the tackle. If it's a late thrown ball, maybe I get to knock it down. If it's really late or tipped, maybe I get an interception. I just play the defense. And so at the end of the day, or at the beginning and the end of the day, I did my job. I really didn't focus on, who had the best, quarterback and best receiver. For me, they were NFL quarterbacks and NFL receivers, and it doesn't get any better than that. This is the best of the best. Even the sorriest guy in the NFL, he would be a superstar on any college team. You know what I mean? So I appreciate your question, but that's the way it is for me.
Yeah. I got to tell you, there are some quarterbacks, though, that played in that time. Well, let's face it, they threw the ball so little, and then when they threw it, they only threw it at third down because, they had to if it was third and long. But really, you almost knew that they didn't want anything to do with somebody like you, so they would throw it on the other side of the field because they knew that you're going to be right there ready to go pick six the other direction.
Well, I had good hands, and like most defensive backs don't have good hands. I think the quarterbacks will throw it over there and say, it's either going to be a completion or an incomplete. It's not going to be an interception. And because I had good hands, they had to think twice before they would throw it on my side.
Yeah, right. All right, folks, we're going to be back here with Super Bowl champion, Pro Football Hall of Famer, College Football Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler Mike Haynes in just a few minutes. When we come back on the circus, we'll still take phone calls, 844-305-7800. Why not? Go ahead and call and ask your question. Back here in a few. Don't go anywhere.
Hugs at the arrival gate.
Hey, I missed you so much.
Seeing your best bud for the first time in a long time. Family and friends around the table. At Lincoln, we know the holidays are filled with moments like these, when we realize that the greatest wish of all is one that brings us together. In that spirit, we invite you into our home during the Lincoln Wishlist event, where not coincidentally, we're making wishes come true with exceptional offers on the Lincoln family of luxury vehicles. The Lincoln Continental, the MKZ, the MKC, the new Nautilus, and the iconic Navigator. The Lincoln Wishlist event, because wishes really do come true at your Lincoln dealer.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Probiotic fermented turmeric. Probiotic fermented beets. Probiotic fermented greens. Introducing Quantum Nutrition Lab's Probiotic Fermented Nutrition, scientifically formulated to deliver organic, full-spectrum, fermented ingredients for maximum digestion and absorption. Even those with poor digestion can enjoy the full benefits of these fermented nutritional powerhouses. Buy 3 or more of any combination and get 35% off. Call 888-588-7578, 888-588-7578. Or visit us online at qnlabs.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline, and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. Our product line, Quantum Nutrition Labs, delivers what others only promise, nutrition that really works.
Healthline is distributed nationally by the Gab Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, here with special guest Mike Haynes, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guests, our podcasts. Also, pick up some swag, some T-shirts, hats, you name it, we have it. Check out our partners as well. Lots of good information at thesportscircus.com. And also, for you streaming the show today on the Sports Circus, thanks for joining us, as well as everybody else on iHeartRadio, Spotify, CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Okay, Mike, so we were talking in between commercial break about you covering a guy with world-class speed on the straight sprint, just the go route, right? And go ahead and tell everybody what you had said. That was really good bit of information.
Well, if the quarterback has all the time in the world to throw it, and he has a cannon of an arm, he can throw the ball 80, 90 yards, then a guy like Willie Gault or the world-class sprinters, they'll have a time to get by the defensive back and outrun the guy. They probably can. Willie Gault may be one of the no question, he's one of the fastest guys I've ever covered. Before he came to the Raiders, he was on the Bears, and one of my teammates said, "Mike, don't think he's going as fast as he can, because he's a lot faster than that." Well, on one particular play, he hit his third and fourth gear, and I swear I have never run that fast in my life. When the safety was yelling, "Ball, Mike, ball!" and I turned around and looked for the ball was jumping around in the air because I was running, my form was so bad. It was so difficult to keep my eyes on the ball. And luckily, I was able to hit Willie's arm, and he dropped the ball. That was the fastest I have ever run in my life. And because that most receivers or no receiver really has that much time to get 80 yards down the field on an NFL play, we don't see a lot of big plays like that.
So now when you were saying the ball was jumping around, that means you were running also on your heels, because that's when the ball tends to jump, isn't it?
Well, no, it was just I was not running on my heels, that's for sure.
Well, no, I'm just saying because
toes, man.
Right, no, but when you're chasing, for example, in baseball, when you're chasing down a fly ball out in the outfield, if the ball is jumping around, that means you're heel toeing it when you're running instead of running on your toes, so your vision gets a little distorted. Does that happen also in football?
Well, I think it's just my form is breaking up.
Oh.
And the track guys will know what I mean. And the football players too. It's like when you can hold your form, everything's smooth. But when you start getting tight, your form starts to break up. I think that's what was happening. My form was breaking up. But Willie said the ball looked the same to him as well. It was jumping around, and that's what happens when he goes deep. And it's also why maybe it explains why a receiver who's running wide open, nobody even covering him, he might have that same type of thing going on, that sensation where the ball's jumping around. That's why it's not as easy as a catch as everyone thinks, because even though there's no one else there, it's really hard to keep your eye on the ball and get your hands in the right place.
Right. Now, you had another speed guy on your team by the name of Cliff Branch, and Cliff was lightning fast as well. I mean, look, you've been around the best of the best players, but Cliff was a guy that could run away from people in the same light, just like Willie.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And he was so fast, we called him Speedy. That was his nickname. He was, I think Cliff at 40 years old probably still ran a 4.3 40.
Wow.
He was amazing. And having him on my team really made life easy for me because when I was in New England and I had to cover him, there was really, you lose a lot of sleep because when the ball is deep, that the ball's going to be thrown in a place where he can get there maybe faster than me. But when he became my teammate, before every pass play, when they were going to throw it to him, he would tell me, he'd walk over and goes, "I got an in, Haynes. I got an up, Haynes. I got a slant, Haynes. I got an out, Haynes." And they're like, "Oh, well, shoot, I can't very well jump that and, make a big play if he's telling me the route." And so that helped me with my speed and my timing to cover fast guys like him. But, he was a great teammate, a great guy. And that's another guy. You talk about Hall of Famers. He was the toughest guy to cover in our era. In the early era, when I first came in the league, my first 7 or 8 years, there was nobody better than Cliff Branch. It was just, the system. He didn't catch 12 passes a game. He'd catch, 2 or 3 or 4, and 2 of them would be super long, maybe 1 touchdown. But he's another guy that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The New England Patriots Hall of Fame, that's kind of a big deal, wouldn't you say?
The Patriots Hall of Fame? Their own
the Patriots Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. You're in there with some pretty big names. But now, what's more important to you? The 75th anniversary all-time team or the Patriots Hall of Fame team?
Not even close. Are you kidding me? I can't believe
I
you
gotta
asked
ask.
me that.
Come on, man. I gotta ask.
The 75-year anniversary team. Are you kidding?
Of course.
That's the greatest players of ever. And there's guys on that list, that aren't in the Hall of Fame as well.
Come on, Mike. I was asking a loaded question. Of course, that's the response I was expecting. I didn't put the Super Bowl against the 75th anniversary team because I think I know the answer to that one.
Well, yeah, you want to win as many Super Bowls as you can. I was fortunate enough to play in one, but I started every season wanting in the world's worst way to get to another Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl. In college, I played in 3 Fiesta Bowls while I was at Arizona State and really kind of got used to winning, and I just thought it was the greatest thing, so much so that in 1976, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks were coming in the NFL, when I was talking to their general managers because they were calling the top players that they were considering, I tried to talk them out of drafting me. I didn't want to go from winning in college to now losing,
Right.
I didn't want to have to get used to that, I didn't want to do that.
Well, it's interesting because back when you were at Arizona State, weren't they in the WAC?
Yeah, they were in the WAC.
That's right.
Really, Arizona State, University of Arizona, and Brigham Young, and occasionally, because one year Wyoming had a great team, but those teams were always in the hunt for who was going to win the conference, and they created the Fiesta Bowl for the conference champion to play in that game, and so we won 3 times while I was there, and played Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl in my senior year, and before that we played Pittsburgh when they had Tony Dorsett. We played Missouri when they had Henry Marshall, who was a great wide receiver, who was drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a lot of fun. College football was a lot of fun, and I didn't want to go from winning to all of a sudden, losing every year. And being a defensive back and having a poor defensive line, I didn't want to do that. There's not one thing. Everybody thinks that some defensive backs are, not carrying their weight. Well, it's really a marriage between the defensive line and the secondary. And if you don't have a good defensive line, you could be the best defensive back in the league, but getting burned 3 or 4 times a season. No one knows that because they think that you're just not covering. But you got to have pressure on those quarterbacks. These guys they're awesome, they're accurate, and the receivers are going to come down with the ball all the time.
Right. Hey, listen, Mike, we're running on time here. In the last minute or so, I want you to take a little bit of time and tell everybody about your causes, how to follow you, and so forth. Go ahead and take a minute and talk about that real quick.
Well, I'm on the board of the Pro Football Retired Players Association, and, I'm still very actively involved in, the transition of football players. So not only young guys when they're playing, youth football, but, even in their elder ages. So I'm 65. I'll be 66 this summer, and we are looking at health and people living longer and trying to figure out, are we doing the right things? Have we been fighting for the right things that are going to help us have a good life after football? And there's been a lot of positive changes since the days that I played, but still there's some things that needs to be worked on. And really had a good fortune of meeting a lot of people who feel the same way. The Retired Players Congress was one of the organizations that I thought you were going to be asking me about today. They do a great job of helping guys. They have products that they sell, and the percentage of those revenues goes directly to the players or to issues that are dealing with players. And that's really what our organization does. The Retired Pro Football Retired Players Association does as well. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of things that can be done, and there's a team of people and a lot of different organizations that are working hard to try and make things better for players after their NFL careers end. The current players, as you know, they're making a ton of money, compared to the era that I played in.
Mike Haynes, Pro Football Hall of Fame, thanks for joining us today. We're out of time. Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.